Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to share today's project with you guys. I have created not one but two gorgeous card projects using just one die. Not only will I be highlighting one of my all time favorite color combinations, that's pink and oranges, but there's also a fun bonus in store for you guys. Along with a very clean and simple design, I will be creating a playful shaker card with lots of sparkle and shine. This video will not only inspire you to create two cards using one product, but will also help you to use up all of your little die cut scraps as well. Well, before we get started, I would really appreciate if you could take a minute to subscribe to my channel and hit on the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Let us first take a look at the die that I will be using today to create our cards. This is the Butterfly Blossoms die set by Waffle Flowers. The set features some beautifully detailed butterflies and blooming flowers. The dies gives some intrinsic beautiful texture detail on the butterfly wings and petals of the flowers. We have three butterflies in this set with matching center body pieces and four flowers, again with coordinating centers. Now, this set does come with coordinating stencils, which will help in coloring these die cuts a lot more easier. Well, I'll be using only the butterflies for our cards today. I started by cutting out the butterflies onto the center of an A2 size white cardstock panel. The best thing I like about this die is that the butterflies are attached together, which makes it a lot more easier to position them, especially when we are creating a shaker card. The negative panel here is absolutely perfect for that. While those little die cut pieces can be easily placed anywhere around your card front to create a beautiful focal point. I will first start with a clean and simple card where I have my three die cut butterflies as the focal point of my card front on an embossed background. I started by placing these die cuts onto my Simon Says Stamp craft tacky mat, which will hold these butterflies in place while we do some ink blending. The colors that I chose for this card are beautiful shades of pinks and oranges, and well, I'm using my Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks in the shade Sherbet, Pucker, Rose, and Sweets. And for my ink blending brushes, I'm using these mini ink blending brushes by Cat Scrappiness, which is absolutely perfect to get into these tiny little spaces or using with stencils with tiny gaps in them. I ink blended the oranges on the center of the butterflies, and towards the wings, I have my beautiful pinks. Cat Scrappiness has a variety of ink blending brushes ranging from hard bristles to ultra soft bristles. We have mini detailed blending brushes and half-inch stencil blending brushes. Well, I'll make sure that I list all of my favorites down in the description box below. Don't forget to check those out. Now, after I was done with the ink blending, I adhered the body of the butterflies, which I die cut using black cardstock on each of those butterflies using liquid glue. Now, I love the black. It complements perfectly with the orange and the pink. These butterflies look absolutely pretty in real life. Well, how could we possibly skip the shine and sparkle on these butterflies? Once I was done with all the adhering, I placed them into my splatter box ready to be misted with a shimmer spray to add the perfect touch of sparkle to all these focal point images. While the shimmer spray dries, let's move on to the background. For this card project, I've chosen the beautifully textured look using the woven embossing folder by Simon Says. I absolutely love the texture it adds. Now, even though initially I said that we'll be creating a very clean and simple card, well, we are adding a bit of an extra flair here. Along with the sparkle on our butterflies, I'll be adding some splatters on this embossed panel as well. I placed the panel into my splatter box and added gold, metallic, and black watercolor splatters to bring even more interest to our background. Once the watercolor splatters are dry, we can move on to adding the butterflies and our sentiment strip. I decided to give the butterflies a bit of dimension by popping them up with thin foam squares, only on the wings, not the center. This creates a lovely lifted effect that makes the wings stand out. For the sentiment, I'm using a letterpress piece that says, "Sending you strength." I felt it paired perfectly with my butterflies. The sentiment is from the Always and Forever Sentiment Strips press plate and die set by Spellbinders. I absolutely love using the Always and Forever Sentiment Strip press plate and die set. It's incredibly versatile. It includes 16 different sentiments that work for a wide range of occasions, plus, it comes with a coordinating die that cuts them out all at once, making it super convenient. You can have the whole set of sentiments ready to go, so when it's time to finish your card, you just pick one and pop it on top of it. Now that all the elements for our card are ready, it's time to bring everything together on the card front. I added the butterflies first, arranging them in a way that left space for my sentiment. I place the largest butterfly just below the sentiment with the medium and the smaller size ones just above it. This layout creates a nice visual balance on the card front. I finally adhered the finished panel onto an A2 size card base, and just like that, card number 1 is complete. Let's move on to card number 2, which will be a fun interactive shaker card. For this one, we will be using the negative panel left over from the die cutting the butterflies. As you can see, the die cut has created a beautiful window, perfect for turning this into a shaker card. Now, you could simply back it up with a colorful panel and leave it at that. But then it's been a while since I made an interactive card, so I figured this was a perfect opportunity. Plus, it's a great way to make use of the leftover die cut panel instead of letting it go to waste. Now, before adhering the acetate window onto this panel, I decided to add some black watercolor splatters to the front panel. I followed the direction of the butterflies and kept the splattering light for a very subtle effect. While that panel dries, we will then be working on the background that will show through the window. Now, here I have a white cardstock panel that's slightly smaller than an A2 size card base, just the right size to fit behind my window. For this background, I'm using the same pinks and oranges to do some ink blending, making sure that there is a nice gradient and color transition that will shine through the butterfly cutouts beautifully. Now, the inks that I'm using here are again the same sherbet, pucker, rose, and sweets. Well, I did bring the window panel back a few times and placed it over the background just to make sure that none of that white cardstock shows through the butterfly openings. I blended the lighter shades of the pink and orange in the center and gradually transitioned to the darker tones towards the edge of the panel. I'm absolutely loving how that color transition looks behind the butterfly window. It turned out so beautiful. But let's be honest, what's one of my cards without a bit of shine and sparkle? So I had to bring back my splatter box. I'm bringing out my shimmer mist spray once again. This time I'm giving the background panel a generous spritz to really add that beautiful shine to the final card. Just take a closer look at that beautiful sparkle. Isn't it stunning? While my background panel was drying, I went ahead and stamped a small sentiment that says, "You got this." It's from the Graceful Flower stamp set by Simon's Stamp. Now it's time to build our shaker window. I started by applying double-sided tape all around the back of this butterfly panel, and I then placed my acetate sheet over it. I prefer using double-sided tape here instead of liquid glue as it provides more stability and avoids any of that glue seeping out through the edges or through the window openings. Once the acetate window was secured in place, I added foam tape around the edges to give some dimension to my shaker window. This allows the shaker bits to move freely inside my window. Well, before adding the sequins, I used some embossing powder, and using my flat paintbrush, I added the embossing powder along the edges of the foam tape. This will ensure that the sequins won't get stuck to the foam tape and can move around freely. I'm using the sparkling snow glitter sequin mix by Cat Scrappiness. Well, once I've added all of the sequin mixes, I will carefully peel away the release paper from the foam tape, making sure that the delicate sequins don't fall onto the tape and get stuck there. Once the release paper is removed, I can gently place my ink blended background panel onto this foam tape. I'll make sure that the background panel is firmly adhered onto this foam tape just to make sure that none of those sequin mixes come out of this window. Next, I adhered the window onto an A2 size card base. I'm really happy with how this turned out. A very clean and simple card front with an interactive shaker window, perfectly paired with a sweet little sentiment. Well, don't forget to add the black centers for the butterflies. I think they really add that extra pop of color to our window. Here's a look at both our finished cards. While both of them have a clean and simple design, each card offers something really unique. The first card features a beautifully textured background with sparkly butterflies and a letterpress sentiment strip, while the second has a shiny background with sparkling snow glitter, making it a fun interactive shaker card. Well, I hope you had fun watching today's video as much as I did creating these cards for you guys. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. All the supplies that I used in today's video will be linked down in the description box below. Please note that all of these links are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.